So, Joseph Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, was finally interviewed and asked, I should say, about the sexual assault allegation that Tara Reade, a former Senate staffer for Biden, has levied against him. And again, the sexual assault allegation that Tara Reade is claiming was basically that Joe Biden pushed her up against a wall, digitally penetrated her without any type of consent or anything like that. She pushed him away, and then he said some dehumanizing things to her, like, this doesn't matter, you don't mean anything to me, this is gonna be okay, don't worry about it, I thought you liked me, things of that nature. And so he went on the Morning Joe show on MSNBC, I think it was maybe last Friday or something like that, and was interviewed by one of the hosts of that show, Mika Brzezinski. And, obviously the first question was, this sexual assault allegation claim is out there against you, Joe Biden. What is your response to that? He vehemently denied it throughout the whole interview, and then Mika, said you said Biden, that women should be believed. Now you say that that needs to be vetted, and then I should say that Biden had previously said that women needed to be believed during like the Kavanaugh hearings and all that stuff regarding Christine or Dr. Blasey Ford's allegations against Kavanaugh, and now Biden was just saying, truth matters. We should, believe women and take these things seriously, but they need to be vetted. He was asked, if maybe there's some type of NDAs out there preventing maybe other people from coming forward. He said there's nothing out there around that. And then Mika asked him, your University of Delaware, records, those were supposed to be made public, but that changed. What happened there? Why not open it up? As Tara Reade thinks there might be some records that the University of Delaware has with regards to the, sexual assault complaint that, that she had filed, or at least the sexual harassment that she had been experiencing. And Biden was like, no, there's no personal records at the University of Delaware, nothing like that. The only place it could be is the National Archives. And he kept really hearkening back to this point and made it multiple times. It was like, no, nothing pertinent would be at the University of Delaware. Let's really focus on the National Archives. If there's any type of, complaint there from Tara Reade, it would be at the National Archives, not the University of Delaware. To me, that means he knows no type of complaint exists at the National Archives, and from his perspective, he thinks there could be some dirt that might be dug up at the University of Delaware should, those records be opened up to people to be able to investigate that. So I think that's really why he's focusing on the National Archives, because him and his team know there's nothing there that would incriminate him, but there actually might be something at the University of Delaware, as Tara Reade had pointed out. So I think that's a little suspicious, and that was, pretty good line of questioning that Mika Brzezinski used, like, why not go to the University of Delaware, just search, for Tara Reade stuff. And then Biden was like, well, there could be, classified stuff there when I, my time in office as a senator or VP, there's confidential stuff when I met with world leaders. And Mika's like, okay, we'll just search for Tara Reade stuff. We don't need to be getting into any type of confidential information or anything like that. Just, have a targeted search. Look through those records at the University of Delaware. All of those boxes, I think she said there's like 1,800 boxes of records there. Just look for Tara Reade. And he's like, no, there's no personnel stuff there. Don't worry about it. It's not there. Who would do the search? And Miko's like, well, I mean, we could find the most fair and balanced, to take a term from Fox News, to investigate it there, some type of, impartial investigators or something like that to go comb through those records, look for Tara Reade stuff. But he just kept saying, there's not going to be anything there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If there'd be anywhere, it'd be at the National Archives. And then he was just saying, I'm not going to, question the motive. There was never an atmosphere, around sexual assault or sexual harassment in my office. And Mika was asking him, why are these things real for Dr. Ford but not for, Tara Reade? And then he just goes back to this talking point, women should be believed, should be heard, but then, these claims need to be investigated. This claim's not true. And I mean, so it's like a whole lot of the interview just really focused on this talk about, whether these, a claim of this sexual harassment or assault exists at the National Archives. And, Biden saying if there was any type of record, it would be there. And, Mika was saying, maybe, it would make sense to look at the University of Delaware too, to, show full and complete transparency, as well as the fact that Tara Reade said that she thinks that where's the record might be there. Let's see. Yeah, so it was a pretty decent interview. It was about 18 minutes long, and again, a lot of it, just focused on this talk of, where the records might exist, but I think what would have made this interview a lot stronger is had Mika Brzezinski brought in some of the actual corroborating evidence that is out there that supports Tara Reade's claim that she was in fact sexually assaulted by Joe Biden in, I believe it was August of 1993, when she was a staffer in his Senate office. So the Larry King call, they could have played it, and Mika could have been like, Tara Reade confirms that was her mother's voice. This was the same month that Tara Reade, says this sexual assault happened. Why do you think her mom went on the Larry King show and said that? Or what do you think about the neighbor, Tara Reade's former neighbor, that was in 1995 or 96, said that Tara Reade told her the story about Joe Biden, and this former neighbor is actually a supporter of yours, Joe Biden. What do you say to that? Do you say that person's lying, or what do you say to the fact that Tara Reade's brother, as well as one of her friends, had also confirmed that she had told them about the sexual assault back in 1993 when it happened? Why not, pepper him with some of the actual corroborating evidence that we have to support Tara Reade's claim? She didn't bring up any of that stuff. I think that's, just bad. That's journalistic malpractice, from my opinion, not using some of the corroborating evidence, like I said, to actually hit him more on, what we have, instead of just this kind of silly questioning that took up a lot of the interview with regards to the, National Archives and the University of Delaware stuff. That's, maybe spend a minute or two on that, and then, move into the more substantive stuff, like her mom going on Larry King, the former neighbor corroborating it, the brother saying that she told him at the time, the friend, as well as a former colleague of Tara Reade's when she was a Senate staffer for a California state senator, who had mentioned to, or who Tara had told that basically, in my former place of employment, this former Senate office, I experienced some sexual harassment or sexual assault. So, there's a lot of corroborating evidence, and all, Joe Biden has as well. I didn't do it. It's not true. I don't know what her motives are. I haven't reached out to her. This was 27 years ago. I don't know why she said this. So, Mika did a good job, pushing back of why not, open up the University of Delaware records for full transparency. And Joe Biden's like, it's not. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Look away. It's, if there would be anywhere, it'd be the, National Archives. So I think, that piece was kind of interesting. So from my perspective, again, I think if that record does in fact exist, it probably is in one of those 1,800 boxes of his archives at the University of Delaware. It's not at the National Archives. His team knows that. That's why they want it to be only at the National Archives and not his, public his records at the University of Delaware. And I think, unfortunately, as others have pointed out, this will probably be one of the last times that Joe Biden actually gets interviewed about it, because the Democratic establishment, the corporate media, at least to a very large extent, wants to prop up Joe Biden, no matter what the cost, because it's the blue no matter who. He's the lesser of two rapists. We got to really be worried about Donald Trump at this point. This takes attention away from beating Donald Trump, and all these really kind of sick and disgusting narratives when he should be getting asked about this at every interview, in my opinion, until we actually get some more adequate responses to him and some more deeper diving interviews who actually point out the evidence that does support Tara Reade's claim, and not just this back and forth talk about where the record exists, because if they open up those National Archives and it's not there, because it won't be, that's why he's going with that talking point and not the wanting to open up the University of Delaware one. Is like, oh, just go look there. If the record doesn't exist, that means she's lying. We can just throw it under the rug and go along our merry way. So I think unfortunately, he's probably not going to be asked a whole lot more questions about this by the corporate media. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I mean, just look how long it took for him to get on the record to actually get asked about this. And I mean, Mika did an okay job, but again, I think she could have done a lot better with a lot of the questions she could have been asking Joe Biden, instead of this a lot of the interview being a back and forth about where these records might exist, if they do in fact exist. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours in the comment sections down below. Peace, much love. If you like the video, like the damn video. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Subscribe for more content if you're so inclined. Peace, much love.